Ngungwe Female's new den. We happened to stumble across it this morning, and we now patiently waiting with all of our camera gear set up for the cubs to eventually reveal themselves. Thanks for joining us once again for another unbelievable week where we tap into a little bit of bush experience and follow a pretty strong hunch that helps us seek out yet another leopard den. Then we move across to an entertaining scene playing out between a pack of wild dogs, a couple of hyenas, and a dazzle of zebra. So we started off our morning by heading across to the last known den site of the Ngungwe Female leopard, where Jess had recently had the most insane sighting of this first-time mother and her two new cubs. Hoping to get a pretty similar view to that, this was probably our fourth or fifth time that we had attempted to see this mother on the boulders. Now this might get a little bit woo or esoteric, but while we were sitting there, absolutely no signs of the mother. A gentle bit of rain started to fall, and with the rising sun in the distance, a rainbow was cast pretty much directly over this cluster of boulders, or this koppie that we were sitting at. So something inside me said, let's just go and have a look at the northern side of the koppie, or where the end of the rainbow was. And you know what they say, if you can get to the end of a rainbow, you'll find a pot of gold. So with that in the back of my mind, we drove around there, and whilst we had the vehicle switched off, a series of different alarm calls, starting off with some grey go-away birds alarming in the drainage, led us to drive in there, where we then heard a francolin take off and fly up into a tree and continue to alarm. And now, knowing in the back of my mind that the Ngungwe female is somewhat skittish and can tend to move away from the vehicle, I had a feeling that maybe this was her trying to slink away from us, that then spooked this francolin or spurfowl, which flew up into the tree. And so while we were trying to get a view there, we then heard some nyala alarm calling in the distance. And now, knowing in that exact direction, there was an awesome cluster of boulders which would be a pretty good den. We decided to drive in there. So as we arrived there, our excitement levels shot through the roof when we saw the Ngungwe female lying in the river sand very close to the cluster of boulders. Now, not knowing for sure if this was a den or not, this was the closest that we had come to finding her, and was an opportunity for us to at least just see what a mother leopard gets up to during the day, and hoping at some point during that day she would then take us back to her cubs. So settled in and committed to the cause, we decided to just sit back, relax, and just watch this mother going about her business. A perfect view for when the cubs could potentially come out. So it was just a matter of sitting back and waiting, hoping that these cubs would reveal themselves. We had a very brief view of one of the cubs coming out, but you can see it was still very, very nervous, constantly looking in our direction. Probably has never been this close to a vehicle before in its life, so after some time it then ducked around back to where I presume a little hole or a cave or a crevice is for them to hide in. Only about an hour and a half after that, of us sitting here cooking away in the sun, did the mother then climb up onto the rock and almost go and call the cubs out. most insane view of the two little cubs playing around in the sand, trying to paw at their mother. They're probably wanting to get some milk from her teeth, but with the way she's lying, she's definitely not going to be able to, they're definitely not going to be able to nurse from her there. Somewhat tentative, coming out into the open with us being here. But slowly but surely these cubs are going to become more habituated to the vehicle, and it all falls back on the mother's temperament. If she's relaxed and comfortable with us being around here, the cubs are going to feed off of that, and they're then going to in turn become more relaxed around vehicles. And this is an age-old practice, I guess, that was, I don't want to say founded or started at Londolozi, but it was definitely implemented from very early on through John Barty and Ngungwe through the habituation process. And we're watching it slowly unfold now with just how the Ngungwe female has become more relaxed and comfortable with us over time. You'll still see she's somewhat on edge, constantly staring in our direction. Any movement on the vehicle, any activity that happens here, she immediately stops what she's doing and looks in our direction. I'm sure the cubs feed off of that. But in time, hopefully have some absolutely phenomenal viewing here. Let's see what else this morning presents us. It's definitely worth every second sitting out here and waiting. Both of the cubs coming down into the river sand and eventually nursing from their mother. You can definitely see that one of the cubs is a lot more nervous than the other and it keeps slinking around the back there. But this is a prime den for these cubs to be stashed away in, because I believe that there'll be many different nooks and crannies for them to hide away in. We're going to probably wrap it up here, start heading back towards camp, but we are thrilled over the moon to have finally refound the Ngungwe Female's den.
Come, run, Congo. Run. Wait, they'll come. They'll come. No. You're the one on the hill running quickly.
Right, now onto the sighting of these wild dogs. We had heard from some of the rangers that they had found a pack of 7 wild dogs, the Toulon pack, with only one remaining pup from those 3 that they stole from that pack of 3 in the middle of last year. And I'm getting wet in this rain, so I'm going to make this one very, very quick. We arrived as they were finishing up the last little remains of an impala carcass. Of course, the excitement around wild dogs is often that they're moving, and there is a possible interaction with some hyenas who had now been drawn in to them feeding on the carcass. So we then watched a very brave hyena go charging in there to hopefully try and get a couple of pieces from the carcass. And as he was in there, they were now charging around, and the wild dogs chasing the hyena back and forth, and I'm getting pretty wet, so this is going to be very quick. Watching that interaction was great, but it wasn't long before a dazzle of zebra came charging in, chasing two of the wild dogs in there.
No, why is this one running like?
Oh, it's a different one. No, that's closer. Let's see the holding pattern there. Hey, there he goes. What's he saying?
Hey, yeah. So it was just phenomenal watching the scenes play out in the open. So I hope you've enjoyed this virtual safari. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment below and we'll see you all again next week. But thanks for watching. So we definitely got caught in that one. Absolutely soaked to the bone. But hopefully we managed to get what we need.